Hello, my name is Gabriel Veloso, BIM coordinator at MRV, a civil engineer with a master's in BIM from the University of Minho in Portugal, and also a member of the Autodesk Building Design Customer Advisory Board. For those looking for hype and trending topics, feel free to skip this presentation. Here, we will tell a boring story of how one of the largest construction companies at Latin America has leveraged Autodesk APIs to save over 100,000 working hours over the years, investing in people, progressively developing technical skills, and expanding BIM uses and its results. Now, I will hand over to Isadora to help me throughout this presentation.
Hello everyone, my name is Isadora and it's a real pleasure to be here today representing MRV and sharing this presentation with Gabriel. I am a civil engineering by background and I occupy the position of BIM manager at the largest construction company in Latin America. I've been working with BIM for 7 years and it's been a journey full of learning and evolution. Today, I'd like to share how we've been applying it at MRV. So, let's explore our BIM journey and how it changed the way we work. Imagine handling thousands of projects at once across big areas with different rules. MRV faced huge challenges. The company's fast growth meant the operation also had to expand without losing quality. So let's understand why our work matters so much. Brazil needs over 6 million homes. Millions of families live in bad conditions. MRV mission is not just build houses, but to give people good, low-cost homes and better lives. We build the dream of own house. But building houses alone is not enough. We had a bigger question to answer. We believe in the transformative power of a home. It's where individuals, families, and communities begin to dream, achieve, and shape a better world. Our brand reflects this commitment. We don't just build structures, we build dreams that change lives. Founded in 1979, the MRV Group is now composed of 6 companies. Besides developing housing for Brazil's low and middle-income population, we also operate in land development, rental solutions, and we have a subsidiary in the United States named Regia. In addition to making the dream of home ownership a reality for thousands of Brazilians, we generate over 6,000 jobs annually in the cities where we operate. We have a diversified product portfolio including low-rise buildings up to 5 floors, single-family homes, and high-rise towers up to 22 floors. Since 2019, all of our project designs have been developed using BIM. And we also use BIM to track construction progress on site. To see our size, 500,000 home built, 240 sites working at the same time in over 120 cities. Today, 1 in every 142 Brazilians live in MRV home. Of course, growing this big also brought new problems. Thousands of projects, billions of data points. How do we turn complexity into efficiency? We are facing fragmented data, inconsistent quality, and excessive rework. It was clear we needed a smarter and more structured way to operate. So we ask ourselves, how can we scale without losing control? The answer, well-defined process, engaged people, and the right technology to accelerate results. BIM became the heart of our digital change. It gave us accuracy, standards ways of working, real-time data, and strong teamwork. And with BIM, our decisions become smarter and faster. We moved from messy spreadsheets to smart BIM models. Now, planning, tracking, following rules, and managing are part of our daily routine. Our workflow can be summarized as: number one, data-driven decisions. Unified models provide accurate forecasts and real-time insights for better decisions. Number two, precision and standardization. Integrated models reduce inconsistencies, minimize rework, and ensure quality. Number three, active collaboration across teams. Improved information sharing and teamwork boost communication and project visibility. Number four, traceability and governance. All actions are logged and traceable in on source, ensuring compliance and quality. But this journey wasn't easy. It all started in 2014 with the first pilot project. Each year, we've increased the number of projects and sites using BIM, while also growing our team and improving our maturity with the methodology. Each year, we got bigger and stronger. Our BIM journey has now lasted over 10 years. Now we are 15 people dedicated. We trained over 2,000 people and handled 1,200 projects on Autodesk Construction Cloud. Still, we had to overcome many challenges along the way. At the beginning, there was resistance to change and communication was challenging. We knew we had to show quick results to keep motivation high. We focused on change management, asking how can we foster a digital culture and adopt new technologies. Clear communication was the key. How can we translate innovation across all departments? We understood the need for fast results. The challenge was, how can we show quick wins to sponsors and stakeholders? We set clear objectives with sponsors, create workflows to communicate results, and listen actively to teams to understand their needs. We also mapped process and requirements to ensure alignment. Now is Gabriel's turn.
But how could we bring fast results with BIM and show quick results and quick wins to our sponsors? Through automation. This was one of our main pillars in the BIM implementation in MRV. To scale without compromising quality, automation became crucial for efficiency. We adopt Agile methods, aligning clear objectives with rapid delivery cycles, ensuring immediate results and long-term sustainability. According to the Scrum methodology, we established key roles and rights to keep the flow and work in standardized processes. We established the role of Scrum Master, Product Owner, and the developer team. Each of these roles have standardized procedures and activities throughout our cycles, our sprints of 2 weeks. Since defining the features and refining user stories in our backlog, to correct prioritizations in our plannings, to standardized development steps and rollouts across our sprint. The planning is the beginning of the sprint. We go through the backlog to understand the needs of the clients, run refining processes, prioritizations, and across the whole sprint, we develop the product, test, provide quality assurance, and roll out it. Going deeper, to our team, we are right now 15 dedicated people in maintaining and deliver new processes and automation. The process team has a key responsibility to be in touch with all the design teams, map and establish information requirements and needs of the other departments, translating to the development team these needs into new possible products. And the dev team owns the expertise to create and build the automations. They have the responsibility to manage all the creation, test, and deliver of the new products. Considering the whole development process, we established several activities that are key to ensure quality and efficiency to the process. The first step is establishing in the beginning of the year, in the beginning of each sprint, our process and needs mapping. Aligning objectives and key results to establish our goals, the team goals, but also understanding other managers' goals and the whole organization objectives for the year to align the expectations with the other departments. From these general objectives and mapping of the needs, we start defining the scope of new automations. We have a standardized procedure, standardized documentation to write down those needs. From this scope, with the perspective of the business, we start a technical mapping. When our developer team bring their own expertise to refine the features and products with their expertise from the technical point of view. If we go deeper in our technical mapping, we have several answers to respond across each level of refinement. We use Azure boards, and we have descriptions and answers standardized to provide for each feature and user story MVP that we're gonna make and deliver. As an example, for this high level of feature structure, we need to well define the high level description of this idea or this solution. What will be new for this different product once implemented? Who will use it? This is one of the most important answers. Who are the personas that will be used? How we're gonna reference them and bring the perspective of our internal clients to the product. Why is it important for the user? How can we engage them in the process, and how can we engage them in using the product after that? Why is it important for the business? We need to explain how this feature contributes to the business goals, bringing efficiency, saving costs, bringing quality, to bring the stakeholders to our side, to have sponsors to deliver that feature. Is there any evidence of value of this feature? Is there the need to do some research to inside or outside the company, alignments? Do we have data that supports the need for this feature? How will we know it's successful? We need to establish success criteria or metrics that will indicate the feature is delivering its intent value. Are there any risks? We need to map and manage all the risks throughout a project. Usability risks, technical risks, business and security risks, or any value related risk. Are there any dependencies with other systems, other products that we are developing, other teams, and so on? And to prove the value, to understand how we gonna evaluate the MVP and so on, do we need a prototype to show the value, to understand how we're gonna build the product, and how we will validate this prototype if it needed? In a lower level, we break down the features into user stories, which are our MVPs, which are what we prioritize and develop in each sprint. And here we bring even more the perspective of the user, the persona that we need. As a key user, I want to use to automate this process to bring this value. So again, we go deeper in understanding the pain points of our designers, our analysts, revisers, and so on to automate these processes. And again, understand one more time what are the benefits for the business to prioritize correctly the sequence of development of a feature. Again, we need to bring evidence to support the development, list technical documents, insights, benchmarks, or related tools supporting the story. Also, we need to understand the rules and acceptance criteria, defining functional rules and what must be delivered for the story to be considered done. Defining metrics and impact, KPIs or indicators that can be or will be affected from the improvements that this feature will bring. And also, we have some technical details, system areas that will be impacted, maybe suggested tables or components to be created or modified in this development. So here are the answers that we have to write down before you starting a new development. With our scope documentation and technical requirements, we are able to do a correct prioritization in our plannings. We tend to prioritize what is the more benefit, provide more benefit for our internal users and for the business. And of course, what is simpler to develop and bring quick results. With the MVPs defined in our planning, we establish which dev team will develop each of those features and user stories. With this team definition, we have a kickoff meeting with the dev team, the process team, and other stakeholders to announce that we're going to start those developments. And after the first development done, we start tests and peer reviews inside the dev team. If all it's okay, we move on to a quality assurance meeting with the other stakeholders, our key users, to evaluate the development and validate that from a business perspective, it's also okay. We are achieving the acceptance criteria. With this stamp from the business side, we establish the process, we start the process to write down a how to use manual, bringing again the user perspective on how they should use that product. With all these steps done, we publish the product in production, going live with that. And in some cases, we do a specific training with the teams that will use the most these applications. Here, a small video of our team in our office. in our daily routines discussing the ideas, and in a collaborative way prioritizing the needs and establish the goals of what we're gonna develop. Here, our current number of uses of our products and the level of plugins that we already developed, which we're gonna go deeper in the following slides. From this perspective of our processes, I'm gonna tell a story, gonna go throughout the roadmap over the years, showing to you how we reached this point. Going back to 2020, in our era with no ChatGPT, way less tutorials, we started our journey with only one dedicated developer. And also Jeremy's blog to guide us through this whole sea of the Revit API. At this point, it was the beginning of everything. We didn't have standardized procedures. We were discovering the way that BIM automation could bring benefits to MRV. In this year, we already developed over 10 plugins for Revit. As an example, here one automation that we developed back there. And at this moment, we ran commands in Revit that were working with simple geometry transformations and simple calculations, simple user interfaces, as you're gonna see in this plugin, using Windows Form, exploring the potential and showing quick results. In this case, we have this plugin, which we select a Revit link type and its positioning on site. We used to use a small Revit family to define the references on the site, and with the project base point of each Revit link type, we managed to calculate the positions that each Revit link instance that represents our buildings should be positioned on site, as you're gonna see after the calculation of the coordinates transform. In 2021 and 2022, after showing the possible results and capabilities that we could bring with automation, we started establishing workflows and proving the value of these functionalities. A key point of this milestone was to increase productivity of the team, establish those workflows, and bring better results. One of the main aspects to prove these results was to start collecting logs to understand the usage of our plugins. Therefore, we could assess that over these years, we had 37,000 uses for those plugins that we were starting to develop. With this data, we could prove the value that this team could bring. So we could, with our sponsors, increase this team and start new types of developments. As you can see right now, with this data from the logs, we could manage to develop a Power BI dashboard in which we could analyze the automations that were being used the most, the design disciplines that were using the most amount of times, or plugins, the possible failures, but also it was a huge portfolio of our automations in a way that our users inside the company could see the whole package of automation that were available to them. And not only that, it was able to show to them in each step of the project, of the design, they should use what type of plugin at this moment. So here we could increase our capabilities to generate insights for our prioritization and generate metrics of the uses that could guide us throughout the years, establishing the path that we should follow to increase our usage. At this time, we also increased complexity to our plugins from the commands itself inside the Revit API, but also from the user interface perspective, bringing new technologies, organizing the code architecture, and increasing the complexity. Here in this example, this plugin enables a calculation to define the optimal path to connect pipes and the plumbing equipment on site, respecting internal technical definitions and national standards. Another huge milestone for us was in 2023, the migration to Autodesk Construction Cloud. It enables us to start thinking about a new set of capabilities to our automations. The migration of our projects to a cloud-based solution, such as Autodesk Construction Cloud, enabled us to run data extraction processes across multiple projects. As Isadora already told, we have right now over 1,000 projects in ACC. So imagine the volume of data, and this capability brought to us a huge set of opportunities. Another perspective is also it enables us to connect communication workflows between Revit and our common data environment. Therefore, to achieve these objectives, we had to develop technical skills on the Autodesk Construction Cloud APIs, increasing the complexity to our developments and enriching them with new commands. As an example of this type of development, here is a plugin for Revit that run model checking processes. And it runs a set of verifications inside Revit according to our company standards and national regulations. Inside Revit, it generates a generic model representation of the issue, carrying data of the problems and items that we identified, providing a 3D representation to the reviser check this data inside the Revit model, but also enables a direct communication process with the designer, creating in real time a issue in ACC with exactly the same data that the plugin generated inside Revit, filling up all these fields automatically. In 2024, looking back to this last year, the key aspect was to build robust applications using multiple Autodesk APIs. At this moment, our products were already well established in the company, and we tracked the most amount of users. Back then, more than 170,000 users, over 90 Revit plugins. The team have increased again and gained a structured format. So we took courage to start getting out of Revit, also developing much more complex applications. As an example, yet inside Revit, here is a plugin that compares multiple projects at once, multiple designs. But here, what is the key aspect? We are not comparing the Revit models itself. We extract the data, the geometry data first from Autodesk Construction Cloud, our models hosted there with model properties and the viewer API to regenerate this geometry and calculate the differences between projects inside Revit. So here we are only using the geometry engine inside Revit to optimize this process. But why we do that? Because it's much faster than opening several projects inside Revit. And the velocity here was the main factor for the company, for the business. We have over, again, 1,000 projects. And one of the main issues for the company is to keep the designs as similar as possible, because our construction method, we have to have similar designs considering our concrete walls. So this process enabled a comparison of geometries that used to take hours to run in under few minutes. Here we can compare multiple projects at once. And now an example getting out of Revit. One of our major developments last year, a web application built with Streamlit and Python in the backend, with the key object to create an automation that connects design and budget through the quantity takeoff. Through the Model Properties API, it extracts the model data in the backend, and it connects to the budget compositions automatically. To bring the visualization of the whole process, we use the viewer. This visualization aspect brings assertiveness and confidence to our stakeholders, people on site, the designers, the budget team, to be secure to use the model data with assertiveness and being sure of the quality of the data used in our budgets. So we navigated throughout the 5 years of BIM automation at MRV, our main milestones. Today, we are proudly to showcase over 200,000 internal uses. Over 100 plugins for Revit delivered, 5 web or desktop applications, which helped us save more than $1 million in working hours. These results underline our commitment to efficiency and continuous improvement. For the future steps, we continue to expand our horizons, integrating more sophisticated Autodesk APIs like Forma API, Autodesk Data Model, and Model Coordination API, with the focus in reshape the construction industry, driving efficiency, quality, and cost reduction. With the Forma API, we believe that we can achieve design and analysis processes in early stage of site evaluation with more efficiency. With Autodesk Data Model, we believe that we can even more enrich the model analysis and data comparison processes across multiple projects in the ACC Hub. And with the Model Coordination API, we believe that we can drastically optimize clash detection processes in this huge environment of projects. Closing out this presentation, again, innovation for us isn't just about technology. It's about transforming how we build, especially focusing in standardized process processes that can bring long-term sustainability for our solutions, investing in people and enabling talents that can bring several technical skills to this whole process. So the main point of this presentation is not to talk about trending topics, hype, or any kind of automation itself, but show to you a solid path that we went through achieving these results. Thank you for your attention.